Guys, Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. I'm glad to have you here. Today, we're going to talk about 5 essential tips that I learned along the way when assembling Go Second Arena teams, which personally, that's my favorite type of team to build inside this game. They're really fun. They're super tanky. You can use them on arena defense, and you can also use them on offense against annoying teams like this one. I mean, they've got 2 hegemons, right?
Okay, what the hell am I sensing? Is that the Namekian? Is that me? Is that me stronger than me? I'll f***ing kill me!
This world can hurt you.
But really, whether it's 2 hegemons, whether you're sick of going against Stoneskin, Ultimate Death Knights, you're going to need a Go Second team. And again, these are tips that I picked up along the way to make the perfect Go Second team. It's not so much champion dependent. I'm going to give you substitutions for the champions that we do talk about in today's video, but rather it's certain sets of artifacts and masteries and other factors that we're going to discuss. So let's just go ahead and jump to it. It shouldn't take us too long in today's video. Gosh, around like 5 videos ago or so, I released a 3-hour long video. I think that might be my new record on almost 10 years, or maybe a little bit over 9 years of YouTube here. I think that's the longest video that I've ever released. I had an ambitious goal, in case you guys missed the video. You're not missing much other than me rambling for 3 hours, but I had an ambitious goal of ranking all 400 champions that I've ever maxed out in the game, or close to. I think it was 390 or so, and I only got through the legendaries in 3 hours and 12 minutes, so...
I'm so proud of you.
Anyway, today's video should be a lot shorter than that. Guys, let's start with masteries on a Go Second team, right? So you're going to pick out your tank, whoever that is, obviously a champion with a bunch of HP, a champion in stone skin, or we'll talk about the artifacts and accessories in just a moment here, but let's start with just the fundamental masteries on a Go Second team. You want a tank on your team absorbing as much damage as possible. Now, in most cases, this tank is going to be in stone skin, so it doesn't really matter how much damage they're taking. This could be an ally protector, or it just could be a super tanky champion, or a champion that has a very particular passive like Ursuga Warcaller, which we'll talk about in a moment. End of the day, you want one champion taking the brunt of all your damage, especially on the first hit from each enemy. Keep in mind, any good arena nuker is going to have Ruthless Ambush, increased damage inflicted by 8% on the first hit. They're going to have Bring It Down. They're going to have a lot of masteries getting extra damage, and some of that damage, I should say, is going to be coming on that first hit. So let's talk about the most important 3 or 4 masteries on the defensive tree for your tank. And again, easy way to do this is put your tank in stone skin, because they're going to be absorbing damage that they're not really going to even be taking. I go Defiant, I pick up the Resist, and I go with Improved Parry. That's going to mitigate critical hits by 8% damage. So right out the gate, that's going to take away Ruthless Ambush, but it's not just going to be on the first hit, it's going to be on every critical hit from the opposing team's nuker, okay? Next, I like to go either Resurgent or Shadow Heal. Heals this champion by 6% of their match HP each time an enemy is healed. I go with Shadow Heal on champions that I have in bolster sets, because usually they have a ton of HP, so I get a nice heal, usually a better heal than whatever my opponent is doing. I get that on Shadow Heal. But in other situations, in stone skin gear, when I don't have a ton of HP on them, I usually go Resurgent. I think Resurgent is an incredible mastery, especially for the arena. A 50% chance to remove a random debuff whenever we lose 25% more of his match HP from a single enemy skill, okay? So again, this is going to pertain to after the stone skin wears off, obviously, because you're going to have stone skin. Hopefully you won't be getting a bunch of debuffs early on. But then the 2 most important masteries, I repeat, the most important.
What about me?
Sorry, you're not terribly important to me.
Is Selfless Defender. Decreases the damage an ally receives from the first hit in each round by 20%. This champion will receive that damage instead. And then, most importantly, Bulwark, right? I love this mastery on my tank. Decrease the damage all allies receive by 5%. This champion will receive that damage instead, okay? Another strategy that we're not going to discuss at length in today's video, but another strategy is going with a bunch of reaction accessories, gears, right? So triple reaction, which we're going to talk about, that's actually tip number 2, right? And then going with guardian gear, right? So that's going to give you a little bit of this Ursuga passive that I mentioned earlier. I don't want to get too far down this rabbit hole, but it's worth mentioning. It's a kind of an unorthodox build that I see a few people using, and I think it needs to get out there a little bit more. So let me explain. Guardian gear is going to eat up all damage that allies take. This champion will take that damage instead. Similar to the passive, not quite as strong, but decrease the damage all allies receive from critical hits by 30%. This champion receives that damage instead, so more damage mitigation. Another way to get around it, again, is guardian gear. So what you can do to ensure that this champion in guardian gear stays alive is go to tip number 2. So after the masteries, guys, tip number 2 is, let me tell you, the 3 most important artifact sets / accessories for the arena right now. Reaction is super meta. All the best teams are running reaction gear, so obviously clan versus clan is going to be important to get your hands on some reaction gear. You'll notice that I have attack ring on Ursuga Warcaller. Why in the world am I running attack?
You want to get married?
Simply because it's the only reaction ring that I had, and I have good substats. But it's the only reaction ring I had, thus I'm making a stat sacrifice here by getting a reaction ring on her, by getting the triple reaction. I have a 75% chance of changing a critical hit into a normal attack when attacked before the first turn. I do not have Stone Skin on this champion. So again, if I had Guardian on a champion, I would run triple reaction if I had it, okay? Even 1 reaction is better than none. 2 is better than none. Keep in mind they do stack. Again, you look at all the best go second, all the best defenses in the arena, you're seeing a lot of reaction. Thus, when I was playing top 20 live arena, you would see almost nobody going with their nukers, going with their big AoE nuke on the first hit. No. They were A1 cycling. Almost everybody A1 cycling, just knowing, why would I waste my big hit, my big nuker's AoE attack, when I know that these players, especially top players, are running a bunch of reaction gear. It's just going to be changed into a non-critical hit, and we don't want that. Thus, reaction is amazing. The other 2 sets that are super meta right now, I'm sure it's not going to be a massive surprise to anybody, is Bolster. A protected 30% HP shield on all allies, heals the wearer by 10% every turn, and, well, we have a 2-piece on her, Stone Skin. 6-piece Stone Skin, you're basically going to be taking no damage for 2 turns. Very popular on Ultimate Death Knight is to build him super slow. We talked about this in a recent video, so I won't belabor the point, but build this dude super slow. 2-piece Stone Skin, so annoying to contend with. He'll hog up all the hits. Stone Skin is very meta right now as well. It's great protection. It ensures they get to their turn because it's a 50% chance of even blocking the removal. Stone Skin, incredibly good. So Bolster, Stone Skin, and again, reaction accessories, okay? The next factor, let's talk about types of champions now. Types of champions, right? We want to get a cleanser, ideally, right? Or a block debuffs champion on the team. And generally speaking, you can build this champion a little bit faster. That way they can go in and cleanse or put their block debuffs. So the most popular options right now are Marichka, the Unbreakable. She's obviously an incredible champion. If you have her, you're running her, right? But there's a ton of cleansers in this game. Mithrala Lifebane is an amazing cleanser. She also brings strength in, which is just absolutely incredible. So having some sort of mechanism to cleanse your team of debuffs, because on a go second team, you do not want to have a bunch of CC crowd control and debuffs, right? You're already slow enough as is. You want to make sure your champions are actually taking their turns. Can I find There he is. So Pythion is very good. I have him also in a bolster set. You can see that I'm running all my meta arena champions in, especially in live arena. I like to have 2 champions in bolster just in case one gets banned. So I have like 3 champions that I normally use quite a bit. Ursuga, Pythion, and Marichka all in bolster on my account. Anyway, we get a cleanse and we have block debuffs on a 3-turn cooldown. Just one of the reasons this champion is so incredible right now inside the arena and really inside everywhere of Raid Shadow Legends. So again, essential number 3 is a cleanser or a block debuffs champion. Now, a nice epic option for you guys is going to be actually Mausoleum Mage, who I don't see used that often in the arena, but I'll tell you what, man, I would run him in arena. He's got increased defense, he's got block debuffs, and then he has a cleanse and heal on his A3. It's not on the same ability, but he's bringing both to the table. So I think that Mausoleum Mage could actually be a serviceable, functional Go Second champion on a more like mid-game level account if you're looking to make a Go Second team. All right, number 4 is going to be damage mitigation from a passive. Okay, so I'm going to point out a few different champions. We already talked about Ursuga. We actually talked about Pythion. We didn't talk about this particular element, but let's talk to the one that everybody thinks of, right? And that is Duchess. I should probably add in a Polymorph, right? Polymorph is also super meta on a Go Second team, so maybe that should be on the list somewhere as well. We'll add that. 6 tips, a bonus tip for you guys. Polymorph. When I have a 2, 3, 4-star blessing on a support champion, 5, 6, I don't have any, but if I did, I would go Polymorph. On offense, usually, I mean, it depends on the champion a little bit, but I think that Polymorph on defensive based, as long as you have, we'll get into blessings another day. Passives that mitigate damage, really powerful, right? So I can name a ton of them. We have decreased damage from AoE attacks on Duchess. We already talked about Ursuga's and how powerful that is. Pythion has a similar one to Duchess. Pythion's it mitigates damage by 5% for every buff on the champion. On a Go Second team, inherently, you're gonna have a bunch of buffs, hopefully getting that full 25% less damage. When you have Pythion and Duchess on the same team, it stacks. We're getting up to 50% less damage from AoE attacks. That's pretty crazy, guys. So these do stack, these passive abilities. Another example, it doesn't always have to be just straight up damage mitigation. We can talk about champions like Vogoth, right? Vogoth is great. Vogoth with reaction or accessories, if you have them in a, well, you don't actually need Vogoth in reaction, because in a way you want him to take the damage, thus healing at the same time. But while I'm here, let me just point out my favorite champion. You guys know who it is, Tagore. He's got damage mitigation. Granted, it's 50% HP or less, but it's damage mitigation from an epic champion. But of course, Vogoth, when he gets hit, he's going to be healing up the team. Whenever this champion is attacked, heals all allies by 50% of the damage received. So again, super great passive for damage mitigation, healing up everybody else on your squad, keeping them alive, right? Okay, the last one, guys, is going to be, and this is probably the most obvious. I should have made it like blessings oriented, and you know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and be a 2-for-1, but it was gonna be Reviver, right? It sounds intuitive, and it really is. But having a Reviver on a Go Second team is great, because there can be, you're inherently going to be tanky anyway, right? On your team, you're a Go Second team, a bunch of defense-based champions or a bunch of big protectors, all the stuff that we've already talked about, Stone Skin, you name it, bolster, right? But even better is to have a Reviver, even maybe a Reviver / healer, right? A Siphi or a Elva, if you're lucky enough to have those champions. But it's great to have a Reviver to just, pick up those tanky champions, and then you're starting the nightmare all over again for your opponent, right? So a Reviver is an important part, at least 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 on your squad. I do want to talk briefly about blessings though, guys. I'm a big fan of Dark Resolve, okay? This is a rare blessing too, so you can put this on epic champions, on rare champions. Heck, even might want to use it on a legendary too. We have a chance of blocking Freeze, Provoke, and True Fear. So if you go against, well, Freeze or Provokers, it's really handy, or True Fear for that matter. Leo's everywhere in the arena. You could be going against like a Yoshi or a champion like that. You could be going against a Harvest Jack. You could be going against, there's Yakarl the Scourge, a Tormund for the freeze, and Provokers, Molly Tankard, and Krisk, name him. There's a lot of them out there is what I'm trying to say. And we get a 25% chance of blocking with no cooldown if we're lucky enough to have a rare and epic champion, or again, maybe even a legendary at 6 stars here. I'm a big fan of having one champion with intimidating presence on your team, strengthen your team's aura, especially if you're going with an HP aura or a defense aura or resist aura. That strengthen can really add up, especially depending on the level. And heck, if you can't get your hands on that, then just go with commanding presence. It's going to still strengthen your aura, and you can put it on an epic champion. So those are, I guess, my favorites. And Polymorph, of course. Those are my favorite blessings, for a Go Second team. I try to load up on Polymorph if I can, and then go with one champion again with Intimidating Presence. Lightning Cage, not a bad one as well. So guys, I hope you found this video helpful. I love Go Second teams. I just genuinely enjoy. I genuinely enjoy building them because on a Go First team, nothing against them. They're great for speed farming or great haul. Why wouldn't you go with a Go First team as long as you have buff removals? Like, especially in this meta, I am running a Madame Ceres and a Cornelia, or a Madame Ceres and a Kymar on the same team, having 2 shots at removing Stone Skin on a Go First. But Go First, it's fairly simple to put your strategy together. Turn meter, a speed or a lead, turn meter booster, debuff, or nuke. That's it. Go second teams, there's a little bit more complexities there, at least in my opinion, and we touched on several of those in today's video. Hey guys, sending some love, some positive vibes your way today, especially if you need them. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. I'll see you tomorrow on the next one, and as always, take care, guys.